Hey everyone, today I am making a card for the This or That hop on Instagram. So I've got this gray panel to use and I have this French chic stamp set by Crafter's Companion, and I'm going to use the Eiffel Tower because the theme for this week is tall or short. So I'm going with tall. So I'm bringing out my Misty and I'm going to put my panel in there and put the Eiffel Tower stamp and a stamp that says just for you. And I'm also getting out a sheet of Gina K Masking Magic because I'm going to stamp the Eiffel Tower on the Masking Magic as well so that I can mask it off. And I am using Wow Metallic Platinum Superfine Embossing Powder. And once that is heat set, I will hold it up so you can see the little bit of shimmer and shine that's on there. And then I will put the Masking Magic into the Misty, and I was just gonna stamp it right there, but I decided to clean it off and move it over just so that I'm not wasting that Masking Magic. Now to cut that out, I've got my little Fiskars trimmers here that I find work quite well for fussy cutting, and this is just masking this off, so it doesn't have to be a perfect cut, but as close as possible. This Gina K Masking Magic is amazing because it is reusable. So I have a little bin where I have my different things that I've stamped and cut out to mask off, and they work multiple times, so that's great. Now I've pulled out the 3 postage stamps that come in this stamp set along with the fleur-de-lis, and I'm just lining my panel back up, applying that masking over top, and I just wanted to randomly stamp all of these stamps all over the background just with Wow embossing ink and then clear embossing powder just to give it like a tone-on-tone look. You can see how that shows up there in the background. And I just thought it would be kind of cool to have the entire background just kind of covered in stamps. And I am heat setting them as I go and then just kind of placing them randomly. I had this thought in my head that this would be a good idea, but it doesn't end up turning out as well as I had envisioned it. But I'm just showing the whole process here anyways, because I will do a little bit of a pivot and change it up a bit to make the Eiffel Tower stand out a little bit more. I think it's a pretty common thing among fellow crafters here that sometimes we have an idea that we think is going to work out great, and it doesn't always. I mean, I find usually it does, but there are times like today where this didn't work out quite as well. And while there are times where a project or a part of a project does end up in the garbage, oftentimes I feel like we can pivot and make something work out of it, even if it's not what we had completely envisioned to start off with. But really, that's kind of like life, isn't it? Sometimes life throws us a curveball that we weren't expecting, and we have to pivot. So I think I'm almost done stamping here. That background is getting pretty filled up. And here's where I'm just maybe putting the last stamp on, looking at it and thinking, I'm not really happy with that. The Eiffel Tower really didn't stand out well, so I thought maybe I should add a white panel on there and restamp the Eiffel Tower and the sentiment. So that's what I'm doing here. I am again stamping it with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and then I'm heat setting it with that same Wow Platinum embossing powder. Just brushing off a few little stray pieces there. And that turned out well. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to cut it down and try to figure out what size I want that white panel to be, because I still want some of the background stamping and stuff to show, right? So I've got it how I want it, and then I decided to trim the panel down to give just a little bit of a white border around that as well, just to kind of tie that white in. And once I've got that trimmed down to the proper size, I'm going to go ahead with my art glitter glue and glue that panel down. And thankfully I remembered before gluing that panel down that I didn't have the sentiment stamped on it yet. So I'm bringing that same Just For You sentiment out, stamping and embossing with that platinum embossing powder. And then I will heat set that. and then bring the card back in. And I decided instead of putting it flat onto the card or using foam tape, I just cut a little piece of cardstock out to glue onto the back of that little panel there, just to give it a tiny little bit of dimension. So now I'm gluing that down, and I think that stands out way better than without that white panel on there. So there is the finished card. So this is for the Instagram hop, this or that. Feel free to check it out over on Instagram and see what everybody else has created. Anyways, thanks for watching and have a wonderful, peaceful day.